I love you all dearly.
I appreciate you all
more than you know.
I think about you guys often. Like, I really care about where you're headed.
Oh, it is nice to have you all here as like a quasi coworker.
And
You know me.
Leave a comment, I'll reply, send me an email, tweet me, whatever.
alrighty. Oi. In my best librarian fit. The blanket is a character. The fire is a character. Everything in here is a character. What the fuck am I saying? This isn't meant to be an eyes glued to the screen type of video, so if you have some dishes you need to take care of or some clothes that need to be picked up and put away, go ahead and do that while you watch. Would be nice if you gave this a thumbs up before you step away from your device. If you're just picking up here with my channel and this is the first video you've watched, hi, I'm Catherine. If you subscribe, you can call me Kath. I'm 25, I just moved to the beautiful city of Seattle, Washington on coastal Salish land. And I have been intimately inviting you all into not only my space, but my space, my mental capacities, my emotional saunderings through a series I named Oversharing in Seattle. In doing those videos, I realized there is something we need to talk about before I carry on and continue the series, and that is parasocialism, my relationship to it, your relationship to it, and manipulation. This thought bubble sort of formed after watching a couple different things. A TikTok from Rain Corp, a video from Lexi Lombard, and NYC lifestyle girly content in general. The Lexi video, she was basically talking about the new necklace and earrings she dropped with Ana Luisa, which are beautiful, and she made some comment about how
if you want to channel your inner femininity, have a good luck charm, match with me. These can be our little parasocial best friend necklaces.
Which I didn't necessarily think much of until she cut in with a post-production clip where she sort of expressed some concern that that might be exploiting the parasocial relationship between her and her viewers by inferring that like they could actually be friends and have this not just like digital connection, but like material, physical connection via the necklace.
Parasocial best friend necklace. Is that toxic to say? Like, is that something I shouldn't be thinking? Because in the moment I thought it was cute, but in hindsight, is that a weird way to word it? But like, wouldn't it be cute if you and I matched? Here's where my thought process is. If I'm out on the street and I run into one of you and you guys are like, look, and I'm like, oh my God. So fun, right?
I had something very similar happen. I was in REI when I was visiting New York City trying on the Birkenstock Bostons because I live in the Pacific Northwest and it's about time I claim my throne. And a couple of girlies came up and were like, are you Catherine, like Katherout? And I was like, yeah. And my first thought was actually, oh my God, how did you recognize me? Because I was wearing a mask. And she was like, oh, it's because I bought the same bag that you have. This brown bag. I'll get it for you because what's the point of a video if not showing visuals? This little number, which I'm a big fan of, and people are always like, where's that bag from? And it's from Article and Goods. So she had bought the same bag after I had tagged it on one of my posts, and I was like, whoa. It's funny that like a freaking bag, like just a material piece of consumerism could like really signal to me how interlaced our lives are, but it's like, I don't know how much of a grip you have on me until you let me know. And like, I personally thought that was cool because I was like, oh my God, we have the same bag, like how cool. Now we get to share that, and I thought it was wonderful. So there was this acknowledgement from Lexi of like how far you should be going with your nods to our relationship, and like Lexi exposed sort of one angle of exploitation of the parasocial relationship, which is just sales, selling, merch, etc., profiteering, if you will. And then Rain Corp, who I love on TikTok, here's what she had to say.
This is not a part of myself that I'm proud of, but every once in a while I'll go down this rabbit hole of like getting really into field analysis of like lower tier wannabe New York City influencers. And something that I notice when I like go to these people's accounts is that they openly lean into like unsubtle parasocialism in a way that I have never seen anybody before. Like their bios will say like, if you follow me, you are my best friend and I love you. I'm your New York City bestie. Click the follow, you know? And it's just a kind of like open-faced, unpretentious grifting that I honestly have to respect. Like you do not see that kind of honest manipulation anymore. And I just think it's so interesting. Like who is seeing that and thinking, yes, this person is my best friend. Like obviously every creator engages in parasocialism, but that kind of cards on the table, Hail Mary pass can literally only come from either a complete lack of self-awareness or like a nirvana of self-awareness that I genuinely don't have the facilities to comprehend.
Her whole point was sort of that these influencers, because I really do feel like they're influencers first, content creators second, in almost the way they like position themselves, they are farming these parasocial relationships with the intent of like, I want to build the parasocialism up as high as we can get it. Crank it to 11. It's going to the moon. LFG, baby. Let's go. Which is so odd because it's such clear grifting and it transgresses like the normal bounds of like creatorship, where I'm never thinking explicitly in my oversharing in Seattle videos, how can I make the viewer feel even more nestled into my life? Those videos are diaries for me to capture how I'm really feeling, and I'm letting you be a voyeur into that. But it's not like I'm deciding what to say based on what I think is gonna increase your like affinity to me, you know? But that's what they're doing. And it's just kind of this late stage capitalism thing, like this postmodern social media thing. Like we have gotten so far. It's only been, 15 years of social media, but we've gotten to a point now where like anything that's been unchecked has been checked now. Like people are just pushing the bounds, and the most foundational benefit of their bestieization of their audience is they get a bigger audience, they get more views, they get more clicks, they get more likes, they get more followers. Like there's the monetization aspect, and then there's the pure engagement aspect of like that keeps people coming back. But beyond the commercialization of the parasocial dynamic and the engagement aspect of what you can get out of it, there is this sort of like third prong that I've seen, spring up because we are so far down in the social media landscape. And that's this very specific defense of the border between a creator and a fan that has started to make me think. There's this contradiction that forms that I don't think a lot of creators are self-aware of, where they'll be pedaling along, treating you like, you know everything about them, you're their bestie. If you've been watching them for 8 years, you know how much they love oat milk and how crazy their dog is and what their ex-boyfriend was like and the mental illnesses they've been diagnosed with, and they let you in enough that you have a share of their identity capital. Maybe that's a way to put it. Like, you are a shareholder in who they are. Like, you have bought into the stock market of like their thing, their whole thing. And they play that up until there comes a moment where they get some sort of backlash, criticism, they're involved in some drama, and then they'll play the card that I don't really think is in their deck of like, you don't really know me. You only know what I post online. It's a sliver of my life. This is a 10-minute video and I have 24 hours in the day. So like, how much do you really know about who I am? I know that talk track so well because I've heard it so many times in like YouTuber apologies or videos where maybe the subscribers are like digging too much into their love life and their breakup, or maybe the YouTuber said something problematic, like racist or classist or something, and people are starting to really call them out on that, and they try to say like, you don't really get the full picture, like you don't really know who I am. And it's such an interesting like paradox because on the one hand, they're absolutely right. Like, you don't know the full them. But they get off on saying that you do the rest of the time. So you're like, what is it? Do I know who you are or do I not? Like, you either need to maintain that principle of like, you don't know who I am the entire time, which I've seen some TikTokers try to do, and it's actually like really off-putting. I'm like, okay, so if I'm not getting to know you, then like, why am I watching these videos? And they're like, just watch me as an entertainer. And I'm like, okay, but that's not the way I've grown up using social media, so to have to really retrain myself. And maybe that's what we need to do, is retrain ourselves and retrain these relationships to more of a distanced perspective. But it's laughable when people try to build this sort of like anonymity with you after they've spent so much time, so much watch time cultivating and farming the parasocialism up. And I think they do it because that protects them a little bit from the backlash, where it's like, you can almost sort of like in that moment horcrux yourself and like separate the person that they're criticizing versus the person you really are. You're like, okay, they're attacking me, but like, that's only like 7.5% of me. So really like 7.5% of me is bad. Like the rest is good. They're just not like seeing all of that. And maybe that's what they're doing in their brain, but it doesn't help and it doesn't make any sense. And that's different from the whole John Mulaney situation, which like that storyline has been dragged along to just bits. Like, I don't need to dig in anymore there, but I do just want to define that like what I'm talking about here is separate from when a celebrity is going through something. Their career is built off their personality, sure, and like who they are as an entertainer, a performer. But most celebrities, and I'm saying most celebrities, and especially someone like John Mulaney or like Pete Davidson, like those sort of figures, like they're not saying day in, day out, you guys know me so well. They're not playing up that parasocialism. I don't think that like he was intentionally manipulating his audience into being besties with him and then being like, whoa, 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 why are people critiquing me like they know me? Because you don't. He never did any of that. People are just critiquing him like they know him, but they don't, and he has every right to say that because like he's never tried to feed into that. Versus, and this is something I haven't reckoned with in a minute, my obsession with Hoodie Allen in high school, which I'm not gonna clown 15-year-old Kath for like liking his music, because honestly, what's that one song he has? No Faith in Brooklyn, is that it? Honestly, High Again's good. Hoodie Allen is one of the first celebrities, artists, musicians, performers, entertainers that I can definitively say built his career off of parasocialism in a way that's very similar to the way that the New York City girlies are exploiting it. I don't know what was going on in his head, so I cannot definitively say he was consciously doing this, but like, when I lay it out for you, like, it is pretty obvious when I think back on it, and I could not clock it as a 15-year-old, but like, Hoodie Allen, very different from John Mulaney because he was using social media in its very early days exactly like a Tyler Oakley would. Hoodie Allen would be tweeting, you know, how's your day? How's your morning going? People would respond. He would reply to them. There would be whole threads. You know, he would follow you back on Twitter. He would retweet you, repost you. Sometimes he'd DM if you posted about the album and you'd be talking. Like, I had so many interactions with him. And he was like the first musician that really created like a two-way relationship with me as a fan. Not that many people were like replying back to their fans and stuff in these days. Like, he was kind of one of the earliest pioneers of like really heavily like over engaging with his fan base. Anytime that he would engage with me online, it was like really special and I was so hyped. And it sold him tickets. Like, people wanted to see him in person because they felt like they actually really did have a thing going. And now I'm like, he was a businessman. He worked at Google before he was a rapper. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was like, that was his sales strategy, was to like make people feel so close to him and just like really, like, I don't even know if he himself was replying to all the tweets or whatnot, but like, he absolutely made money off of that relationship.
Okay, as I am saying this, I went to his Twitter and the most recent thread before he basically went offline is directly about this in an even darker way. He's saying there have been allegations of some disturbing predatory behavior of some of his band members, and he's sort of addressing like the claim that he has used, Hoodie Allen has used his closeness with fans to prey on underage girls, and he's saying that's wildly disgusting, mischaracterization of the community I've built. He says his interactions with fans are the most validating parts of the job, and he's always tried to create a space that doesn't separate him as an artist from you as a fan. I've always DM'd fans and engaged in genuine conversation. It's never been intended as a tool to manipulate anyone. A lot of fans became friends, which led to countless group chats, quiplash hangs, and weekly poker games. But what I have neglected to recognize and acknowledge is that a power dynamic is involved in those friendships. The inherent role of artist/fan does not dissipate. This gets a little weird. I'm so sorry for any time that I've neglected your feelings or put you in a position where you felt that disagreeing with me on any topic could jeopardize that friendship. I am still an artist you've looked up to and need to recognize the weight that platform carries. So he's acknowledging the parasocialism and then leaning into it even harder, where he's like, I never want to do anything that puts our friendship at risk, instead of the other way he could have gone from this incident, which is to say, hey, I might have made you feel like we were friends, but like we were never friends. So it's fascinating. I don't have any real extractions from this to bring to the table, but clearly I am not the only one that picked up on how much he relies on fans' friendship.
At this point, I do need to cut in because this video is sponsored, and that sponsor is Wealthfront. As we all know, time is fake, but that doesn't mean that the new year isn't still coming up. And that means the opportunity to reflect on anything we've ever done in the last 12 months will be thrust upon us. And, if how you've been managing your money comes up in all of that for you, now's a good time to introduce you to my friends over at Wealthfront who have been helping me for years in that arena. I know that the knee-jerk reaction for a lot of us as we figure out our personal finances is to use something like Vanguard, but it's helpful if you think about Wealthfront as sort of Vanguard 2.0. Vanguard's big brother, older, wiser, more autonomous. You're getting access to super low cost index fund strategies, which is what I pursue. And you're not having to make your own solo decision about how to distribute your money amongst those funds in your portfolio. Which ETFs to invest in when. You're going through all of those motions with expert designed guidance through Wealthfront. So if you do have $500 that you're able to invest, Wealthfront will go ahead and build and then manage your portfolio that's based on your risk tolerance and considers that. Through my link, invest.wealthfront.com/Katherout, you will be management fee free for up to the first $5,000 that you manage in your portfolio. So no extra cost like a financial advisor would charge you. Your portal, your door to Wealthfront is in my description box already. So if you're interested in a way to start investing or continue investing, they're there. And thank you to Wealthfront for being so committed to my content and partnering with me. Here's where that leaves me, because I've been making these oversharing videos. I've been interacting with all of you. I try to reply to the comments as much as possible. And I haven't been creating content with the direct aim in mind of monetizing our relationship. Obviously, that is happening to some extent. Like, I am making money from sponsorships, which come about because there are people watching me. Like, if I had 0 viewers, I would not have sponsorship. So like, your connection to me and your return to my videos and your subscription, like, it's meaningful to my income, but that's not like when I am speaking in videos and DMing you, I'm not like, okay, gotta DM this person so that my business empire can be built. Like, that's not the way that I'm going about it. But I still think I need to have this really conscious moment of reckoning of like, where is the line? Like, how far can I go in these videos with calling you guys besties and making you feel like you really have the clearest window into my life. I want to be more conscious of this relationship and be more careful about not exploiting your viewership and your connection to me. Because I've said in videos before that, like, you're all important to me. I can't be there for you, for every single one of you, like the people in your life are. I could never do that. Like, it's one to many. There's that, and then there's also a request just for like accountability. If you're watching my content and you feel like, ooh, like Catherine is being kind of grifty right now, like I don't really feel like she should be referring to us in this sort of way, or like I feel like she's taking advantage of, you know, parasocialism, whatnot, like just let me know, like, because this is something I want to work on. It's something that I want to develop. Like, I don't mean to feed into this problem. I do feel like parasocialism is having this moment. It's been talked about and it's been in the Merriam-Webster dictionary for like however many years now, but it's having this moment where people at first were like, ooh, this is scary bad, and then people were like, whatever, we're doing it. And now I feel like people are like, but what are the ways that people are leveraging it in really insidious, like perverted ways? And I don't think I'm a pervert, but I don't want to be on the pipeline to perversion. So keep me honest, like keep me in check with this oversharing series. I'm still going to be making these videos again, just like to capture my own monologues and own realizations. And if you'd like to participate in that, please do. But know that, first of all, like I am in a unique position where I'm not depending on my YouTube income to support my livelihood. It's a supplement and a piece of it. But like if YouTube went away, I would still be able to put food on the table and pay my rent. So like never feel as though like you owe me something because of your connection to me. And that's something I'm really conscious of, is like when I do create my Patreon, like I don't want to be taking your money because of the relationship you have to me unless it's for a good cause. So just know that there are some ethical musings up here. I have spoken for long enough. For those of you that are regular viewers of Oversharing in Seattle, thank you. I will see you all soon. Thank you so much for watching, and Katherout.